Another article you've written for your site, theculturalweekly.com, is 3 reasons entrepreneurs and artists are the same. And you say 1, they see past the horizon; 2, they are makers and doers, not daydreamers; and 3, they may finish, but they are never truly done. I'm curious though, how do some people get caught in that daydreaming trap? Are some people just born doers, and then some people are just born dreamers? Or is it a learned inertia?
Wow, do you know?
I'm asking for me. I vacillate between the two. So.
But you do get things done, don't you?
I do.
I mean, here you do. You're going to finish this video, so we know that you get things done. You know, the dream space is really necessary to create things at the end of the day. You have to have the dream time. And you know, we probably both know many people, writers for example, who won't write, and then in a weekend write a novel, and it just comes out. You know, Arthur Miller said, "I wrote Death of a Salesman in 3 days." Well, of course he didn't really. He may have physically sat at his old Remington for 3 days typing it, but he probably worked on it consciously, dreaming subconsciously for years before he finally got it onto the page. So that dreaming time is very important, but some people just dream, and we all know people who just say, "Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," and they start a lot of things and they never finish them. They never get them, you know, really to a point of completion. That's not the people that we're talking to right now. We're talking to the people who actually get things done, who actually make things. Probably only 10% of the population, because the rest of the population are probably the constituents, the audience, the market for the people who actually finish things, get things done in this creative space. And of course, there's no value judgment about whether you finish or don't finish, whether you dream or make, right? We all need each other. Introverts need extroverts, extroverts need introverts. Creative people need audiences, audiences need creative people. Cultural Weekly is all about a place where everybody can come and share that. And really what I'm trying to do on that side, with a lot of amazing help from some great writers and great thinkers and really, really loyal readers, we're just trying to elevate the conversation, because there's not a lot of great space to talk about creative things and to talk about them in deep ways that are better than sound bites, that are deeper than a thumbs up, thumbs down. And we're just trying to model ways to have conversations that have some depth and variety and other levels of interest and other ways to look at things. We don't have an axe to grind. We don't have a political perspective. We don't have a cultural axe to grind or a creative perspective, other than to value creativity, to say culture is really important, to say that the cultural and creative life that we live dramatically affects the world that we live in. And we should talk about that. And we should have a place and a way to talk about that. It's all that we're trying to do on Cultural Weekly.
And if someone would like to contribute an article,
yes,
what would be the necessary steps, and what types of articles are you looking for?
Sure. Well, you go to culturalweekly.com, and under About there's a category called Write For Us, and I have a list of guidelines for people to write. And we do get unsolicited contributions, and we read every one of them. And you know, often they get into the online magazine, which we publish every week. It has to be about culture and creativity. So as long as you are looking at your subject through the lens of culture and creativity, or it's about something cultural or creative, it doesn't matter if it's present or past or future, it doesn't matter if it's architecture or painting or film or theater or dance. As long as it's about the creative work, it can find a home in Cultural Weekly. And then I care that you have a strong point of view and you articulate it well, and that it's fascinating. Because in the online environment, you have to keep people's interest, and it's got to be fascinating, and you've got to have a good lead, and you need a good image so people will actually read it. It's, you know, all the same things as in a print magazine. It has all the same rules, and audiences will either turn the page or scroll away quickly unless you keep their interest.
And are many of your readers artists themselves, or they just appreciate nice things? Beauty.
You know, I haven't done a survey, but I would say it's probably 80-20. I'd say probably 20% are creative people themselves, writers, playwrights, filmmakers, dancers, visual artists, poets. We actually have a lot of poets. We have a lot of poets. I think the article with the most comments is a poem, which is a beautiful and hopeful thing in America today. Something close to 200 comments on a poem. And probably the other 80% are just people who love creative things and read books and read poems and go to movies and go to theater and go to dance and care about architecture and care about art.
And what was your reason for starting the site?
It didn't exist. There's just a void. It didn't exist. I mean, the shocking thing is that that domain name existed,
Hard to find.
which was proof that it really didn't exist.